Just to introduce it. Okay. Hi, I'm Louis Carlette. I'm an organizer for Tozen Union and also the Chief Finance Officer. Today we'll be doing a Tozen Daigaku on unemployment insurance and the system, how to use it, how to make sure you're enrolled, how to use it, and how the whole system works. So let me first share a summary that I wrote. I prepared, and we also sent this to all members, or the president, Hifumi Okanuki, sent this out to members, so you can read from there if you'd like. After a short lecture, we will be taking questions from anybody, so please write your questions in the chat. You can write them during the lecture or afterwards.
And also, could you explain that we're going to add Japanese subtitle after the...
Yeah, and we will put it up today, but then later we will add Japanese subtitles. So, okay. So, I basically organized this lecture in a few sections, and I'll scroll down the screen. I hope you can see it. Can you see the document, Mizuho? Yeah. Okay. So first is just an intro, and then how to get in. That's A. B is how much do I pay? C is how do I get on the dole? In other words, how do you get benefits? D, how much will they pay me? So I separated it into these 4 sections, and then actually 5, including the intro. And of course, if you have any questions, I'll either answer them if I know them, or I'll look up very quickly and try to answer them in that way. So hopefully this will give a good overview of the whole system. Okay, first of all, the purpose of unemployment insurance is to ensure workers' job and income security after losing a job, and to help them find new jobs. So the idea is that if you're looking for a job, they will help you make ends meet while you're looking for a job. So you don't get to a point where you can't pay rent or can't buy what you need because you have no money because you've lost your income. So the assumption is that you are looking for work, and also what's very important is that you're willing and able to work. If you're not willing, or if you're not able to work, then they will not give you the benefits. Okay, so that's the purpose. The system, in effect, pays you to look for another job. And there's a thing called Rodo Hoken, which means labor insurance. And there's 2 parts to Rodo Hoken. That's, you can see in the first paragraph here. Rodo Hoken includes unemployment insurance, which is Koyo Hoken, or Shitsugo Hoken. And the other part is accident or injury at the workplace insurance, and that's called Rosai Hoken. So those 2 together make up what's called Rodo Hoken. Okay, and the law that applies here is the Employment Insurance Act. Employers must report to Hello Work when they hire you. Okay, and Hello Work is the nickname that's given to the Kokyo Shokugyo Anteijo, or the Public Employment Security Office. So your company must report you if you qualify for unemployment insurance. And we'll talk about how to qualify later, but if you qualify, they must immediately report that you are their employee and that you qualify. Immediately means before the 10th of the following month. Okay. Now, let's go to the next section, which is how to get into unemployment insurance. And if you work at a company and you work 20 hours or more, it's important that you make sure that you are in the system, that you're in Koyo Hoken. So one way is just ask your employer, am I enrolled? And another way is to check your payroll slip. If you look at your pay slip that the company should give you each month, there should be a small deduction for your unemployment insurance premium. So that's another way. Another way would be to actually go to Hello Work, the Hello Work where the company is located, the one that has jurisdiction over not where the company is, I should say where your workplace is. So if you work in Shinjuku, you'd go to the Shinjuku Hello Work. If you worked in Chiba, you'd go to the Chiba Hello Work. You go there and just ask them, am I enrolled? And they will tell you. Okay, so letter A, section A, how to get in. The eligibility requirements. The first one is the most important. You have to be employed. And that sounds obvious, but a lot of people think they're employed and they're actually on what's called Gyomu Itaku, which is an individual services provider contract. So some companies claim that they have a Gyomu Itaku relationship with you, meaning like you're kind of like your own private business. And let's say you're a teacher at a school, like listen, I guess I can say it. GABA is a company which their teachers, GABA claims they're on Gyomu Itaku contracts, which means they're not really GABA teachers. They're teachers that provide services to the company. And so the problem with this is that if you're on a real Gyomu Itaku contract, then you have no labor rights except for trade union law. And of course, sometimes companies will put you on this contract, even though in effect, you're actually an employee. And there are ways that you can dispute the status of Gyomu Itaku. And we can claim that, no, actually you're an employee and you are covered by labor laws. So that's something to keep in mind. So the first thing to find out is, am I an employee? Does my company or whatever the employer is, does the company recognize me as an employee? And if they don't, even if you dispute it, Hello Work will not enroll you in unemployment insurance. So the first thing is, okay, I'm an employee. The second thing is, will I be employed for 30 days or more? I'm sorry, more than 30 days. So if you already have been employed for 30 days, then of course there's no problem. Or if you expect to be employed for 31 days or more, then there's no problem. But if you're doing a job that's like just a 2-week job, then you're not eligible for unemployment insurance. The third stipulation is that you must have stipulated work hours of 20 hours or more per week. And so you can look at your contract or your work rules. And if you're contracted for, let's say, 25 or 30 hours, then you're definitely eligible for unemployment insurance. Now, if you're eligible, your employer must enroll you. That's their responsibility. As I said, they must report you to Hello Work, that you are eligible and that you're now in the system, and then they pay a premium and then you pay your share. Okay. So let's go to the next section, section B. How much do I pay? Okay, now some premiums or some deductions from your paycheck are a lot, like income tax is a lot, or shaka hoken, health and pension is a lot. Unemployment insurance is not a lot of your salary. It's a really good deal because what you pay is not that much, but then if you do become unemployed, it's a really good benefit. Like the cost benefit ratio is really in your favor. So it's definitely a good idea to be enrolled. The monthly premium for unemployment insurance for Koyo Hoken is 0.9% of your total pay. And that total pay includes overtime, transportation, and other allowances. There are a few allowances that don't count, but most of the allowances do count towards your pay. And surprisingly, it does include transportation. Now, of that 0.9%, you pay 0.3% of your salary, and your employer pays 0.6. So you're only paying 1/3%, less than 1/3% of your salary. So it's really not a big deal. You barely notice it. And again, like I said, you can check on your payslip, and that'll help you know that you're enrolled. And if you're not enrolled, and your employer refuses to enroll you, you can go to Hello Work and ask them to order your company to enroll you. Okay, now this premium 0.9% is for most industries. There are exceptions. In agriculture, it's 1.1% and you pay 0.4%. In construction, it's 1.2% and you also pay 0.4%. So a couple exceptions. Now, your employer can automatically deduct your share from your salary each month, just like income tax and shaka hoken. There's only certain things that your employer can deduct from your salary without your agreement. And one of them, of course, is income tax. Another is local residential tax. One is shakahoken premiums, and also unemployment insurance premiums. So again, check your pay slip, make sure you're being deducted, because it's definitely worth it in the end. Okay, now how do I get an adult? How do I get benefits if I'm out of work? If I've just lost my job or resigned my job, or because of Corona lost my job. So let's talk about the eligibility first of all. So when your last day of employment comes, let's say it's December 17th. Now look back at the previous 24 months. And of those 24 months, if you were enrolled in at least 12 of those 24 months, then you are eligible for the benefits of unemployment insurance. Okay? So, and by eligible, it means like basically every month in which you work 11 days or more, then that counts as a month of enrollment if you're enrolled by your employer. So, and it doesn't have to be the same employer. Let's say you worked at 2 different companies over the past 2 years. 1 year you were in company A, and then the last year in company B, but overall you were enrolled in like more than 12 of those 24 months. Then you're eligible. Now that eligibility, the hurdle is lower if you lost your job due to bankruptcy or if you were fired. Then it's only 6 of the previous 12 months. So again, if your last day is December 16th, look back at the previous 12 months. If you were enrolled in 6 of those, then you're fine. So how do I get the unemployment insurance? So it's a kind of a pain in the neck, as a lot of things are. Now, the documents you need, there's a few documents and stuff that you need to take to Hello Work. Now, one thing is, when it comes to enrollment, the Hello Work office that's closest to your company, or I'm sorry, your workplace, the one that has jurisdiction of your workplace is the Hello Work office you want to go to. But when you go to benefits, it's not where your workplace is, it's where you live. So where your official residency is, go to your local Hello Work office. And these are the things you're going to need to bring. Rishokuhyo 1 and 2. And Rishokuhyo 1 and 2, these are severance documents for those who are enrolled. And so the company must issue these and give them to you in 10 days from your last day of employment. Now, some really bad companies don't do that, and they kind of stall and they cause a lot of problems. But by law, they must give them to you within 10 days. Now, if you don't get the Rishokuhyo 1 and 2, ask your company, put pressure on your company, and tell them that they have to give it within 10 days. And if they still refuse, go to Hello Work and really talk to Hello Work. Go back many times. Whenever you go to a government office, get the person's name, talk to them. You have to really pressure them to contact your company and say, cough up the Rishokuhyo 1 and 2. That's one thing. Another thing you need is what's called a Hihoken Shasho. This is basically a certificate that shows you were enrolled. It's like a card or a certificate. And also your employer must give you that in the same way. Another thing you'll need is 2 face photos, 3 centimeters by 2.5 centimeters. There's a lot of photo booths you can find in a lot of government offices that use that size. Just make sure you have 2 of them. And again, all this information we sent out right before the Tozen Daigaku seminar started today. So you please check for the details. Another thing you need is your My Number card. Another thing you need is your Inkan or Hanko. I'm not sure if they accept signatures. They might, but it's a good idea in Japan anyway to have a Hanko. You can get one made really cheaply at your local Hanko office. And then you should bring your bank book, because if it goes well and you become recognized as a beneficiary of unemployment benefits, then you'll need to give them your bank information or including your account name. And for foreigners, it's very important to get the right account name, because there's a lot of sometimes a lot of ambiguity about what is the account name for a foreign bank account. Often they have 2 different names on the bank book. So like one could be in katakana, one could be in English. So it's very important to make sure you know which one is your account name official. It's called Meigi. So bring all those to the Hello Work. and then go through the process of applying. And then once you apply, they will do a quick investigation. They will certify that, yes, you are a beneficiary, that you are eligible. And then they'll set up the first date. It's called a nintebi. Maybe I should write that down somewhere. And it's usually in the morning. And you should definitely go to the nintebi and always be there and be there on time. They're very strict about you being there. And remember, one of the things to get unemployment insurance is you have to be able and willing and able to work. So if you're sick, if you're too sick to work, then they won't give you benefits, because the idea is that they're paying you to look for work because you're able to work. So you can't say like, I was sick for the nintebi. I mean, sometimes you can, but if, the idea is that you have to be really raring to go and ready to look for a job and all that. And then once they set up the nintebi, make sure you're there. And then they'll make you come every month during your beneficiary period. And again, that's at your Hello Work office. There'll be other people there. It's usually in the morning, like 8 or 9 a.m. And make sure you're there. And between those times, you have to show that you look for work. And there's many ways you can do that. One is to write down the names of companies that you interviewed with or that you tried to get a job with. They also have, the Hello Work system has people willing to help you look for jobs, like they'll do consultations for you. And if they offer a consultation, make sure you do it. Don't refuse a consultation. They also have a computer bank. I'm not sure about during the Corona period, but usually they have computer bank where you can like look for jobs. Unfortunately, it's all in Japanese, but if you do that, they will like stamp a card that shows you looked for work on that day. So these are the things between your monthly nintebi. You have to look for work, and then you have to prove it or show it to them that you look for work, and then they will wire the money into your bank account. Okay, so let me go to the last section. How much will they pay me? And this is a monthly allowance they will pay you, again, to look for work. And this is the chart that they use. Okay, so this chart, the top row shows how many years you were enrolled. Like as of your last day, how many years going back were you enrolled in the system? And then once you get benefits, then the clock goes back to 0. So since your last time you got benefits, how many years total were you enrolled? If it's less than a year, then you only get 90 days of coverage, which is not bad. I mean, it's like 3 months. So you'll have 3 transfers into your bank account. So that's this column here. See where it says Y is less than 1 year, and then you get 90 days. Okay, and there's 2 factors for how many days of coverage you get. On the top row, you see it's how many years enrolled, and then on the left column, it's your age. So the older you are, the longer your term of benefits last. The longer you're enrolled and the longer you've been alive on this earth, the more your benefits will build up. Okay, so regardless of your age, though, if you've been in the system less than a year, you only get 90 days. Still pretty good, certainly better than nothing. Now, if you've been enrolled between 1 to 5 years, then these are the number of days you will get benefits depending on your age. And when I say days, I mean calendar days. So they include Saturday, Sunday, like you get a benefit each day. And then at the month mark, they pay you all that. So if you're below 30 years, you get the least. And then as you get older, you get more up until 60. So 45 to 60, you get 180 days if you were enrolled between 1 and 5 years. And then between 60 and 65, it goes down again. So the best age to be is 45 to 60. As we all know, that's the best age to be. So sorry, young folks, but we get longer, we get more benefits. Now, if you're enrolled 5 to 10 years, of course, you get more. And so this is the chart. So again, we sent this out today. So please look at this chart and find out where you fall. to see how much you get. Now, if you're, I should say, if you're disabled, you get 30 or 60 days more. Or if you lost your job due to Corona, you get more benefits. So yeah, so like for disabled persons, I made this a little unclear, but you should, in general, you get a year's benefits. So 360 days, I should say. So that's, I mean, one good thing. But also you get 30 or 60-day extension if you lost your job due to Corona. In other words, if they're doing layoffs or for any other reason that you lost your job because of the Corona pandemic, the Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare has added 60 days in principle, but 30 if it'll push you over 360, because you can't get more than 360 in any event. And that's another thing. You should handle this right away after you leave your job, because if you wait, you can never get any benefits after 360 days after your last day of work. So if you start halfway, like 6 months later, and you're really eligible for 240 days, you won't get the whole 240 days, because after 1 year, it just cuts off no matter what. Okay, so how much will they pay me per day? Okay, so Hello Work will pay you between 50 to 80% of your calendar daily wage. Now, the calendar daily wage is weird because it's not how we normally think of daily wage. So you take the last 6 months of your employment, take your total salary, and then divide it by 180 days. And that's what's one calendar average daily wage. But then when you get the benefits, you get it for each workday of your, I should say, unemployment. So in general, 50 to 80%. Now, why is it 50 to 80%? The lower your income, the higher the percentage. So if you get a very high income, you only get 50%. If you're getting minimum wage, you'll get 80%. Okay? But there's a limit. So if you're making $1 million yen a year, or $1 million yen a month, you only get 50%, plus it can't go over these limits. If you're under age 30, the limit is 6,850 yen per day, and then 30 to 45, 45 to 60. Again, 45 to 60 is the best. So that's 8,370 yen a day. So nobody will get more than 8,370 yen a day for those benefits. Okay, so here it talks about how to calculate your calendar daily wage. Now, so if I'm getting these benefits, why should I get another job? Why not just wait until the benefits run out, then look for a job? Because aren't I wasting like the remaining benefits that I could have gotten? Like, let's say I have 180 days. Why should I get a job halfway through when I can just, enjoy, relax, just, kind of looking for a job, not too enthusiastically for the last 3 months and just get those sweet, sweet insurance bennies, right? Well, they thought of that. So what they do is they encourage you to get a job because you don't lose all the remaining benefits. So if you, let's say you have 9 months of benefits. So what's that, 270 days about, right? So if you have more than 2/3 of that left, so in the first trimester, if you get a job in the first trimester, they'll give you 70% of all the remaining benefits that you would have gotten if you had not gotten a job. So it's actually in your benefit because you'll get the new income plus 70% of all of those benefits. Now, if you're in your second trimester, they'll give you 60% of all the remaining months. And then if you're in your last trimester, they won't give you anything. So there's no incentive in that sense. So this is a basic wrap up of how the system works. And I'm sure there's a lot of questions, or I hope there's a lot of questions. So that's basically it for our mini Tozen Daigaku today, which went very quickly because we didn't have any interpreting. So maybe I should do the whole thing in Japanese. Are there any questions?
Only from us.
Only from us? Okay. There might be more. So yeah, we have time. So please write in your questions, anything that you have now. Yeah, I think people might not have anticipated that it would end so quickly, but go ahead. Question. Can you ask me the questions? もちろん。 Yeah, I'll put the question underneath.
と、ちょっと実際にあった例なんですけど、
うん
さっき言ってたように、この失業保険をもらうには、被保険者証と、あと離職票が必要だっていう、なんですけど、もし何か不具合だとか不具合があって、離職票しかなかった場合に、離職票だけでも給付金ってもらえるんですか？
Okay. Yeah, I'm writing it down.
もう一回言いますと、離職票と被保険者証が必要だと思うんですけど、何か手違いだとかがあって、離職票しかない場合、離職票だけでも給付金もらえるんでしょうか？
Okay, so the Hihoken Shosho is basically a certificate that you are an enrollee of the system. So first of all, if management is not cooperative about giving you these documents, go to Hello Work, pressure them to pressure the company as fast as possible. You don't want to let time go by because, sometimes civil servants aren't always, so quick to move. So you got to really talk to them, go there, even every day, talk to them, get to know them, pressure them. Now, at the end of the day, I think it's likely that the Hello Work, if as long as they know you're in the system, because they can look it up pretty quickly, as long as they have the Rishokuhyo, there should be no problem. Now, one thing about the Rishokuhyo is that I forgot to mention about the Rishokuhyo is that when you get the Rishokuhyo, the severance document, there's okay, yeah, one more thing about benefits I forgot to say, very important, is that if you resign of your own accord, you can't get benefits right away. You have to wait 3 months. But if you're fired or the end of the contract of a fixed term contract and you don't get renewed, or the company goes bankrupt, then you can get benefits right away. This is a really important point, and I probably should have covered it, but that's a really important point. So when you get the Rishokuyo, it's very important that the company writes, like if you were actually fired, make sure the company says on the document that it was the company's responsibility. And it's called kaisha no tsugo. And even when you resign, if the company encouraged you to resign, they should put kaisha no tsugo, which means it's company reason, on the Rishokuyo. And that's important because that enables you to get benefits right away rather than having to wait 3 months. So if the company is not giving you these documents, tell Hello Work and they can order your company to give up these documents. And then if they write the wrong thing in the Rishokuyo that interferes with you getting benefits, they can also either pressure the company or they can, listen to your side of the story. And there's usually a way to work it out. If you honestly were driven out, if you really just decided you want to change jobs and resigned of your own accord, then you have to wait 3 months for that. Although in some cases, because of Corona, they're making exceptions for that. So did that answer the question, I hope?
あともう一つ。その被保険者証もらえなくて、その会社側といろいろごたごたしているときに、もしその直接雇用されている会社ではなく、その親会社だとかグループ会社に問い合わせるようにだとか、会社が雇用されている会社が直接管理していないということはあるんでしょうか？
I think the simple answer is no, because legally the parent company or the affiliate has no responsibility to give the documents. Remember, the employer has 10 days legally. It's clear in the law that to give up the documents. The parent company, they can justifiably say it's not our responsibility. In fact, what happens is more the opposite, that in some companies, the parent company is the one that deals with the documents, even though they're not legally responsible. So we do see that the parent company does it sometimes, but they're definitely not obliged to do it. I mean, maybe you could do it to get, maybe apply some kind of pressure or something like that, but they're not legally responsible.
Next question. What will Hello Work do if a company continues to drag its heels or refuse to send the necessary documents?
Okay. Well, first of all, I should say I've never actually experienced when Hello Work orders the company to do that. It's unlikely that the company will refuse because they're very connected to Hello Work and that they always have to report new employees. And Hello Work has legal authority to order them to do so. I'm not, to be honest, I don't know the answer to that. Like if in some unusual case, the employer just refused to cooperate about the documents, my guess is that Hello Work would eventually let you get benefits, but there would be a problem with them in the company. Like, I'm not sure if there's penalties or something like that. I'm gonna have to look that up and get back to, maybe we can send it out later. So sorry if I can't answer exactly, but like I said, I've never seen that happen where after the Hello Work orders the company to give up the documents that they don't do it eventually. They might stall and stall, but eventually they'll do it. I mean, even only the really bad companies stall, so it seems unlikely they'd outright refuse forever.
Okay. Next question. What should I do if I don't have a My Number card?
Okay, well, no, well, first of all, I think you should. It's a good idea that you have it. Otherwise, if you're a foreigner, you should have a Zaidu card, which might be okay. Or if you're a Japanese person, Jumihyo, and I think sometimes they even accept license, driver's license. But you should have a My Number card anyway in general. So, but and you should be able to get one. No problem if you're legally in Japan. So,
another question. Let's say I have been enrolled in the system for 3 years. So no problem with the 12 months out of 24 requirement. I lose my job and collect my benefits. I get a new job and I am fired on day 31. Am I eligible for a new 90-day period of benefits?
no, because once you get benefits, the clock goes back to 0. So you would have to again be, if you're fired, you'd have to be enrolled within 6 of the last 12 months at the time you were fired, and it would have been only 1 month. So again, once you get benefits, everything is, you start over completely. If you don't get benefits, it accrues, like if it's within those 2 years, but once you get them, it goes back to 0. Wait a minute, let me just write down the question. Okay, go ahead.
Next question. I live in Sagamihara but work in Shinjuku. So first community is Shinjuku, then after that Sagamihara?
No, the Shinjuku is only where you go to check if you are currently enrolled. And if you're not enrolled, you can ask that office to order the company to enroll you. Once it comes to benefits, like when you leave your employment or even before, you should go to the Hello Work office of where you live, not where you work. So there's two different offices. When you're enrolled, it's the 1 year where you work. And then when you're getting benefits, it's where you live. So even the first Nintebi will be in the Hello Work office where you live.
Question?
Mm-hmm.
I heard that if you're on a work visa, you have about 4 months after losing your job to find a new one before maybe losing your visa. These 4 months start from the end of employment or from the end of benefit entitlement?
Okay. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, so first of all, it's 3 months, not 4 months. If you're on a visa, a fixed term visa, you have 3 months to get another job. According to the law, you have 3 months to get another job after you lose your, after you leave one job. Okay, if you're on a permanent employment or a non-fixed, an open-ended, I'm sorry, not employment. If you're on a permanent visa or open-ended visa, you don't have to worry about this. But if you're on a fixed term visa, once you leave a company or an employer, you have 3 months to get a new job. And also, I should say here, within 2 weeks, you have to notify immigration that you are no longer employed where they think you're employed. Okay, so during this 3 months, this is a very good question. So let's say I have 6 months worth of benefits. Does the 3 months start after my employment ends or after the benefits ends? Unfortunately, the answer is that it starts after my employment ends, which shows an obvious contradiction between immigration law and unemployment insurance law, in that if you have more than 3 months worth of benefits and you're on a fixed term visa, you can't logically get all the benefits, because after 3 months you have to get another job. Now, in reality, often Immigration Bureau does not crack down on those who don't get a job within 3 months. In my experience, in fact, they rarely, if ever, crack down. But theoretically, there's a contradiction in that you can't get all of your benefits. Even if they go for a whole year, you can only get 3 months because you have to get another job in that time. But you should be able to get the one-time payment that you get if you find a job in the first or second trimester. So, hope that answered the question.
No. So the one in orange that I wrote.
Oh.
Are there any other benefits for people with disabilities or with health or housing or people with children to supplement?
Yeah. Well, first of all, if you're with disabilities, your days of coverage, your period of benefits is longer. In principle, it's a year. So that's one thing. There's also, I didn't mention it today, but there are also, even for people without disabilities, they pay for special training, consultations. There are want ads at the Hello Work office, and they do special things for people with disabilities, like special want ads for that. I'm not sure if you know, but there's a law that requires companies to have a certain percentage. I forget if it's 1% or 0.1. I shouldn't say the percentage if I don't know, but that they're required to hire a certain percentage of disabled people. So Hello Work has special services for people with disabilities. As far as people with children, I'm not sure. Be careful. One thing, if you're advanced in pregnancy, you may not be eligible for benefits, because one thing is you have to be willing and able to work. So if you cannot work for any reason, you're not eligible for benefits. So if you have children at home that you have to attend to and you can't work, then also you're not eligible. If you don't want to get a job, you're not eligible. So sometimes, you have to be very careful of stuff like that. So I hope I answered the question.
退職日から12日経過しても離職票が届かない場合、取り急ぎ、離職票なしで失業保険の受給手続きを遅延なく進めるための仮手続きができると思います。ハローワークで休職登録をした上で、離職日がわかる書類をハローワークに持参する必要があります。具体的な手続きはハローワークによって異なる場合があるため、事前に管轄のハローワークへ問い合わせることが必要だと思います。
Okay. Okay, so that's not a question, it's a comment, name. Wait, Jose, wait. Has a provisional. Go to Hello Work. Okay. So yeah, so the comment was that.
また続きがあります。
Okay, it continues. Okay.
あと、離職票を発行してもらえない場合は、代わりに支援者に退職証明書の発行を求め、それを離職証の代わりにして手続きをすることも、進めることも可能だと思います。退職証明書は、労基法22条により、労働者が求めたら、支援者が必ず支援、
This Rokiho? Yeah.
22条発行しなければなりません。
Yeah, so let me say this one. Okay, so the comment is not a question, the comment was Hello Work has a provisional system for those who cannot get the documents. So go to Hello Work and ask. In any situation, go to Hello Work a lot. Show your face, get to know the people, ask them what to do. Go back again, keep going. So if you can't get the Rishoku issued, also there's a Taishoku Shomeisho that, I forgot the show, Taishoku Shomeisho that the employer must issue. Although if they don't issue the Rishoku, I'm not sure why they would issue the Taishoku Shomeisho, but Labor Standards Act requires them to issue the Taishoku Shomeisho, which is a different office. It's the Labor Standards Office. So you can also go to them if the company won't issue a Taishoku Shomeisho. So, who was that? Or okay, good. Thank you, Hifumi-san. That was our president who showed us. 以上?
No.
Okay. So we'll put this up today, right, on the website, on our website at tokyogeneralunion.org. And then later we'll put Japanese subtitles, right?
今月もう一個予定してたものがあるので、
Oh yeah, what's the date of that?
もしかしたら変更しなければ、
If there's no change. And what's it on again?
無期雇用、有期雇用に加藤先生が会議してくださいます。
Okay, so our next scheduled Tozen Daigaku is December 20th at 2 p.m. If there's no change, please, we'll send out if there's a change. And Kato Sensei, our lawyer attorney Keiko Kato, will lecture on fixed term employment versus open-ended employment, Yuki Koyo versus Muki Koyo. So please watch out for that. And I guess we're done. No more questions? Okay, thank you very much. So please check it out later. Tell your friends about it so they can find out. This is a very important time in Corona to, I did say that the Corona, you get 1 more month, right? 2 more months or 1 more month, right? Basically, if during Corona, you get 2 more months of benefits. I think I said it during that period, unless it puts you over 360 days and then you don't. So everyone stay safe and healthy, and we'll see you on the 20th. Jason.
最後、感じです。
Bye bye.
ありがとう。